Hey everyone, Kevin Ross here, your co-host at RNFM Radio, and welcome to the latest edition here on YouTube and all of our platforms where we've posted this. Today's video is actually inspired by Brittany Wilson of The Nerdy Nurse. Brittany, you inspire me all the time. Much love right here, much love. So anyway, Brittany, I hope you don't mind. I wanted to actually bring in to our platforms a discussion that you were having in one of the forums that we're members of, and that is in regards to conferences, speaking at conferences, and whether it's fair to not only not get paid as a speaker, but to actually have to cover the conference costs, the incidentals, all the travel, and everything that goes along with that. I'm going to throw my opinion in here, and of course I'm always welcoming comments, feedback, questions, whatever you have, but keep in mind my opinion is coming from a good place because I care about you as a brand. I care about your business. Trust me, I do. That's absurd. That's absurd to not only get paid, but to also have to cover all of those fees. But let's talk about something in just a few moments where it might be okay to not get paid at a conference. But let me table that for the moment. And let me just kind of talk about this no payment thing. So an organization reaches out to you, a business, and they want you to speak at this conference. You apparently are an expert. You apparently have valuable content to provide to the attendees. And why would they not want to pay for that valuable content? Well, here's the thing. They're in business, and apparently that's not good business, so they must not be good business people. Again, flame me if you want, but this is just my opinion. So if there are attendees, and the attendees are paying to be there, and you're there to provide them with valuable insights, valuable content, not only doing that, but also building brand awareness and building up their organization, then yeah, you need to actually receive something out of that. Now, they might come to you and say, well, you're going to get wonderful experience. We're going to help you generate leads. You're going to be able to convert. All right, let's take that for a second. As a brand, as a business, if you have a marketing and advertising budget, and let's say that budget for right now is about $1,000. Now, you could spend that $1,000 and put it into a couple of, print ads or radio or whatever that is. And I just use $1,000 as a rough, round number. But let's say over here that the conference would cost you $1,000 to attend and all the travel and whatnot. And you want to consider that part of your marketing and advertising campaign because you're going to have access to a very niche target audience that you need to get access to anyway. So is it a platform where it really makes sense for you to be there and to generate leads and can convert whatever product or service that you're trying to convert? With one caveat. Here's the thing. You don't know if you have access to that niche audience. You don't know unless you do a little research. You do your due diligence to make sure that when you're speaking, that you in fact are getting access to that audience that you need access to. That's paramount. That's first. Here's the thing too. Take this into consideration. The attendees who are there for hours, days, maybe up to a week or whatever that is, how many speakers are there? How much information are they getting pulled into these brains that are just exploding with information? They're exhausted emotionally, physically. Do you think you're going to be able to generate leads and network, a lot? Unless there's a little bit of downtime at maybe the bar or a restaurant. I mean, certainly I've had those sort of on-the-fly business deals, sure. But I didn't go there for that to happen. That wasn't my primary goal, but certainly that has happened. But here's the thing, there's so much information that they have to walk away because they can't take any more information. Here you are trying to sell them or trying to generate a lead or whatever that is. It can be very challenging. So take that into consideration. Okay, so you want exposure and you want experience? I bet if you live within 50 to 100 mile radius of a major metropolitan area, there's gotta be a conference, an organization, something, a meetup, whatever that is. If you need to get in front of people and talk and get some experience, find one that's near where you are and put yourself there. Because if you're not going to get paid for the conference to speak there, and I sure as heck hope that if you're speaking, even it's locally, that you don't have to pay the conference fees, that could be a good way for you to generate some experience. Again, look at the conferences that are within your 50 to 100 mile radius. There are a lot of them. And I bet you'll find something that is in line with what you're doing. And again, you'll gain that experience without a lot of money, out of pocket. So as far as the attendees concerned, And organizers and attendees, listen to this. Should an attendee pay a fee to go to a conference? Is it worth it? Well, here's the thing. As someone who has all of this experience, I know you can go on Google, you can go to a library, you can pick people's brains, you could spend hours, days, weeks, months doing all of this, curating all of this information, and drive yourself crazy doing it. But if, as an attendee, and this is a conference that's going to help you either start your business or rebrand yourself or give you career advice or whatever it is that you need direction with, you're probably going to find so much more value in that fee that you're paying as an attendee to listen to the experts who have skin in the game. Like I always say, we know what's up, we know what's going on, and we know how to help you because we've been there, we've done that. So again, it is going to be valuable content. And for you as an attendee, as an individual, to pay our hourly consulting rate or even our daily rate is going to be unrealistic. So to spread that across many attendees makes a lot of sense. So here's the thing, organizers, those who are having these conferences, why wouldn't you want to pay the expert in the industry to speak to your audience that you're charging to make sure you're getting the kind of content that you were promising to your attendees, that you're promising to deliver on that? Deliverables are extremely important. As a business, people pay me for my time, for the services that we provide. And you know what? I have ownership in that. I have a brand, you have a brand. We've aligned each other's brands together, and I'm a representative of your brand. I'm going to go to all lengths to make sure that I deliver on what I promise to you, my expertise, because you're paying for those deliverables, and I want them to be perfect. So that's the thing. There's value on both sides. Value as an attendee to pay for a conference to get that information, but also for the conference, those organizers and brands to pay for the leading experts to provide that valuable content. I mean, quite frankly, why would you just pick people off who would do this for free? Just to have, to fill a room and then to provide them potentially with subpar information. That's not always the case. I know that there are plenty of PhDs out there or doctorate people who need, and as it was stated, one of the members on the forums had talked about they need to do it for free because of tenure or because it's part of some research or whatever that is. Well, that's on them. That's on them. They're doing that. But here's the thing. If you as a consultant, you as an expert, continue to do these things for free or for very little in return, you're going to create an industry standard that everybody's going to start saying, well, across the board, conferences don't pay for speakers. Stop it. You're devaluing not only yourself, but you're devaluing us, all of us as brands and as experts. And quite frankly, that organization is a business. I am a business. I started this to provide a product or service. I started everything that I'm a part of to provide a product or service that I want to for a client. But I'm also in business to stay in business, and so are those organizations. So it would be bad business for me to accept something like that. Those kinds of absurd terms. Again, I use absurd because I'm very passionate about that. Stop devaluing yourself. Let me give you an example. This has nothing to do with speaking, but as a consulting firm, my private practice has grown. I started with just by myself, and it has grown. And we get several RFPs, requests for proposals, to provide a service to these organizations. And so then we submit our proposal, and then we also hear that there are other people out there submitting proposals as well. I, first off, think fantastic, because you know what? That means some other consultant is out there doing very similar things that I'm doing. Hey, the water is great and there's plenty of room. I'm not threatened by that. So then come RFP time, we send the proposal in and we get feedback from the organization, or we get word back to say that we didn't win the bid. Okay. Can you ask me what we could have done better? Or I'm sorry, can you tell me what we could have done better, or what was the deciding factor for you? A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, maybe almost 10 times out of 10, it comes down to money. They say to us, well, this consultant was actually cheaper, so we had to go with this particular consultant. I have a facepalm moment at that point. Not because I feel like our fees are too high or that we don't bring enough value, but I think, oh my gosh, I hope that this consultant is actually setting themselves up so that they can be sustainable. And I'll tell you this, often, more often than not, we, after 3 to 6 months, are in that RFP process again with that same organization. And many of the reasons why are that the consultant couldn't execute on those deliverables. They just couldn't do it. And so then they came back to renegotiate the contract, or they went out of business because it wasn't sustainable. And it's one of those things where I want to say to people, but I don't want to be crass. But at the same time, I come to them and say, yeah, so you chose them because they were cheaper. How'd that work out for you? Apparently it didn't, because now we're renegotiating again as we were 3 to 6 months ago. So you need to establish a fee structure, a value on yourself, so that not only can you under promise, but you can over deliver. And you can't do that if you keep just doing things for free or grossly undervaluing your services. So just stop it. Don't create an industry standard for all of us that basically means like, no, we're not going to pay for your services. Because quite frankly, you're just kind of working us all out of, this professional paradigm shift that's occurring, especially in the nursing profession, where we're trying to, let people know that we can offer value. We can offer a tremendous value to people. And that's what these organizations, the clients we work with, all of those who we touch, they need to understand. It's not just that money that you're shelling out, but actually the value, that return on their investment. And quite frankly, you're not going to be able to give them the value or that return on investment if they're not paying you for those services. Just straight up, you're not going to be able to do that. Anyway, at the very least, I'm a little winded. I'm off my soapbox now. Any questions or comments or feedback are always appreciated here in the RNFM radio platforms on YouTube, and of course our sites, Facebook, Twitter. You can follow the hashtag RNFM radio, and certainly be sure to follow Brittany Wilson over at The Nerdy Nurse. And again, much love, Brittany. Thank you so much for the inspiration, and I hope you at least find this informative. Again, it's my opinion, but my opinion is about valuing your products and services, you as a brand and as a business. So be well, make good decisions, and certainly feel free to share this video with the masses. Thanks so much. See you back here on YouTube or on RNFM Radio's radio platform. So take care. Thanks so much.